Hi, my name's Irrelevant, and I have to figure out what's wrong with my tap. So, I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be like that. And yes, I checked to see if the knob was loose. It was the first thing I checked. It feels like the internal mechanism has come loose in some way. I'm not exactly sure what. And then of course you got these newfangled high-end automated taps. It's just, good luck getting parts for them. And if you have to replace them, they're gonna cost an arm and an ass. Well, I gotta figure out how to fix it. It seems fine, there's no leaks, but you run into the situation where if you leave it like that, you could end up having it leak later on. Now I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of cleaning this out without you. I'm sure you'll forgive me. You don't want to be sticking your head into the belly of the base chair, frickin' sludge and smudge all around. Now it's a heck of a lot easier to work on these projects if you take the cabinet doors off. Now some cabinet doors, they have a single screw here that will release the hinges. However, not this one. These screws are all adjustments. This has the different kind of hinge. If you kind of pop a screwdriver underneath this pupper here, then it's gonna release the door out of these rather large holes that are present. There we go. All right, you ready for some plumber crack action? Oh yeah, bud. So what do we have under here? A whole lot of piping. Yeah, you see, nothing's loose down here, but taking this all apart's gonna be a pain in the arshin. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off by turning on this water. We shall then go and turn off the water main. And then I'm hoping if I come down here, I can release the pressure. And because that pupper's open upstairs, water's draining out of this tap right now. So when I disconnect the wires, pipes underneath, it's not gonna poosh. And there are a lot of them. And they're all nicely strapped together. I think the guy who did the plumbing here was probably better than the guy who did the electrician here. Or maybe I'm picky about electrical, but not plumbing, because I'm not as experienced with plumbing. So what do we have here? This is actually a fancy, newfangled, automated system. You know, it has a sensor, but I keep taking the batteries out because one, the batteries don't seem to last very long. And for two, it's annoying every time you wander up to the tap and just go to get something from the sink, boosh, all over you. It's just an overly excited sink it is. And those totally just look like quick disconnect push connectors. I should get a bucket. Here, steel catch bowl. Now, what's it gonna take to disconnect these pupperatos, eh? You wanna tell me that? If I just wanna maybe slip down that figure there. There are special tools that you're supposed to have. I think that was working, but they're tight. Okay, combination this and mini crowbar. Oh, gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Oh, good. My plan worked. No water spilled out. A little bit though, a little bit. Next. And again, no water came out. Now what's this third one for? So the trick is, the little dudes right here, you gotta push them evenly down. They're like shark bites. And they will release. Oh, this one's got water in it. Ah, jeez. Not a huge mess, so we're still winning. Okay. Yeah. Hoop the jupe de loop. Hoop da. Oh geez, that connects to the friggin' main unit too. So this guy loops back down and it plugs into the bottom right here, number 4. Number 4, right there. Which also looks like it's a quick disconnect. Oh, the USB connector came out. Okay. So, quick connectors. Easy to get together, hard to get out. Well, they'd probably be really easy to get out if I had the special tools, but I had to improvise. A combination of getting the pliers all around that ring, you gotta push up on it evenly or push down on it depending on the perspective, and then gently, with my little crowbar, tugging it out. Talk about not having specialty tools. How many people have a miniature crowbar? So all these zap straps are gonna have to come loose now. If you got a little tiny screwdriver or a pin, you can sometimes just, you know, pry the lock open. These ones are kind of loose. So get underneath there and give her a go. These things didn't even lock to begin with. What the frick? So now we have something resembling a wiring harness. Still with maybe a bit of water in it. I think it's unavoidable to not get a little bit wet. Oh, how much you want to bet? Oh, I got to get this thing off before I can put it through the hole. This thing looks like it just... Okay, the weight assembly just pops off. Sure, look at that. For this particular assembly, there was even a quick disconnect here. Well then, taps. Turn them on and they get moist. Somewhere up here is a nut. I don't know how I'm getting at. I gotta figure out how many millimeters that is. I'm having a hunch about something here. My hunch is... Oh, now I don't have to worry about this thing getting in the way. That's one less pipe to fuss with. Do I have a socket deep enough to get up in there though? Let's feel here. I might actually. I'm gonna have to go out to the tool shed and get a part. I don't know, man. Yeah, it is a custom deep socket set. There are special like T-handle kind of dealers that you use to get that on and off there, and I don't currently own one of those. What do we think? Is that about 19 mil? This is an example how much I hate gluing stuff. That's how I fixed my wrench holder. And of course, it's the 10 millimeter that broke. All right, so I was guessing it was a 19. This is gonna be fun with a plain old wrench. No, my second guess was a 20 something. Oh, what's the next size up? A 22. That was my next guess. I'm also assuming it's metric because it's probably made in China. It's a good thing I'm an agile dude. I am determining there is no way to get that off of there without the special tool. I guess I'm gonna be right back. Actually, I just measured the nut with one of these guys, and it is just about the same size as a spark plug. Do you think this guy is gonna fit on there? Ho, 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 ho. Shall we find out? Let's see, bud. Oh, still no good. It's just this thick shaft here is just screwing everything up. Okay, so I checked the shed. I have another one of these. Came with the old Jenny. It looks a little bit thicker internally. Let's see if this one fits. Oh, bazinga! Yeah, bud. Oi! This whole freaking thing came out. What's going on here? What sorcery is this? Does that mean... Yeah, she's free. All right. Now we can take this party downstairs to the workshop and figure out what's really going on. Now, it begs to question how much more specialty tool it's gonna take before I can get this arse out to dinner. So you got a hole in here, and Alan is gonna take this knob off. There. Ugh, it's greasy, sir. See what I mean though? The assembly is loose. How does this all come apart? Can I probe around and find anything loose in there? No. And there's this whole thing. Probably the same threading as the thinking behind. And I'm willing to bet this is gonna pull the cartridge out, which is something I would like to avoid, to be perfectly honest. Let's look into this hole here. This should all just pull out some way somehow. But at least I'm confirming one thing in here, is that indeed there is no structural, there's no seals broken. It's just loosey-goosey. I think this plastic ring should probably come off some. Oh, look at that. Okay. Look at that. There is, yes, a big nut back here. So if I knew about this before, I could have fixed this up without having to take it all apart. All that trouble for nothing. But at least now I know how it works. Getting in there to tighten up pretty good is going to be a wondrous time. A wondrous time. A great vacation. I can just go screwdriver sideways like this. Trying to remember if I have some sort of tool that'll get in there other than like the obvious, needle nose. But even needle nose don't quite have the right geometry to span these. A man who has an app for everything might not have an app for that. One method, often used out in the wild, is the old hammer and punch. Tippy tip, 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 tip. Because this is a nice piece of kitchen implement, I need to find a way so, I know. Not throwing in the towel quite yet, but we'll throw down the towel. Now let's see if I can gently. That should be as good as we need it to be. Unless we have a specialty tool, it's gonna be harder to torque it up more than that. So how does this happen to it, you might ask? Well, maybe a combination of hot and cold and hot and cold and hot and cold rapidly while doing the dishes, followed by a heavy-handed lady smacking that valve back and forth rapidly. Might have done the trick. The tappy method was effective because I'm having trouble getting it back off now. Probably should just schlepp some Loctite on there, be quite honest. I'm not even sure how I would get Loctite all the way down there. Well, we can try. That's actually a bit much, maybe. It's going to make a little bit of a smash. Little bit of a mess. Okay, well, let's try to push it down there at least. Into the realm in which we want it to exist. This chunk of Loctite is too goopy. This is no good. I need a little bit of fresh stuff here. I went the wrong way. Great, I wasted a bunch of it. Now I got it on my finger. Now you know I hate working with paints and glues. Not sure if we got it quite deep enough, but. Oh yeah, she smeared in there right nice. Now let's do the tappy tap tap lock. That should do nicely. The only problem is I might get some Loctite on this ring when I get it in there. And then what happens when I have to service it again? This only goes on hand tight. We'll take it off, clean whatever's on it off. Snug that up. Now let's put the handle back on. So in retrospect, I decided I had to take that apart and inspect it to make sure it was a problem that wasn't going to get worse. In this case, I found that it wasn't. All the actual plumbing fittings were secure. It was just maybe an aesthetic flaw. Who knows how much more abuse it would take before it actually became a problem. But chances are it probably could have been fine for years. But you have to inspect it. That's the reason why I get to have nice things, because I maintain them and then I don't have to replace them. And then you learn how to fix them. And then again, you don't have to replace them. So, skills save you money, man. Well, now we have to put this pupper back together. Now, before you go installing this thing back in there, it is highly advisable to take this opportunity to clean in the grizzly, hard to reach areas that you normally can't clean at, when it's installed. Like right here. I imagine all sorts of crap seeps in underneath the faucet. That's gotta be nice and fresh now. Then underneath the faucet itself, like there's this ring. This ring looks a bit filth, sir. We want to clean the filth off the ring. All right, now I think at this point it's just a case of plopping this all back in this hole. Sit something like this. All right, so this assembly here is gonna thread back up into the tap till that's snug. And then I have to go in with my extra special, ultra expensive specialty tool and snug her all back up. Wow, I made loud. Hey. I don't like the feeling of this crap on my hands, and I went to wash it and it doesn't work. All right, now let's see if I can kind of figure out how this goes up in there. It's gonna be somewhere in here. It actually occurred to me, it'd probably be easier if I take this whole kit and caboodle off of here and thread it in from this side. Yeah, that's a lot less of threading the needle. All right, it gives you a little notch there. See that a little snugger. Now, let's try putting that through there. Okay. Except I'm gonna have to start all the way from scratch feeding this up in there. So I gotta get that up into place. Oh, thanks for staying put, bud. And then the nut. All right, where's the specialty tool, bud? Ah. We're gonna be here the better part of a day, spooling that on there. Oh! Hope that didn't land on my lens. Yeah, sacrifice it to the god of science. Maybe if we can, just give it a little bit more snugging. Should be able to get in there with the screwdriver. There is just no room to move down here. Okay, that's on there. Oh good, it appears it did not fall on the lens. Now it's a party time case, getting all this plugged back in where it goes. So I think these three guys are pretty straightforward. They 1, 2, 3'd in the top here, and it's like a no-brainer, just that one's 2. Oh, maybe these things need to be pulled up. No, they're compression fitties. Just jam it in there, bud. There, as long as they don't leak, which they shouldn't, or else it's crap. And then what else do we have here? Oh, the USB. Yeah, that's for the auto controller, which is a feature I don't quite like, but nevertheless, it's supposed to plug into that hole there. Right, so that's all in place. I gotta feed this little snack through. Oh boy, what sorcery is this? Is it not meant to come out? Nope, there it goes. Ah, there's this guy. All right, so this is, come on. You still have to have water in you, bud. I thought we established already that you were dry. Now this has some sort of, goes back into there. And then there's some hanging assembly that has to, oh yeah, I gotta install the hanging assembly first. Still with the water. I can't believe how much frigging water is in this damn pipe and it just won't. Sorry, I had a moment. So I got the hanging assembly. Fish onto here, and it goes on bottom of this guy here, and then we have nut, which is a bushing. Okay, that doesn't thread very much on there. And then the hanging assembly just hangs, and then that hanging assembly is part of, you know what? I should have put that on first to make it easier, but it comes off easy enough. So we're gonna put the holes into the hanging assembly, kind of like that. Or no, I got it backwards. Yes, like that, sir. Hose in the hanger. Then we got to put it over the other hose. And then we have to put the bushing nut into place. And then hanging assembly now hang. And now the actual loop-de-doo snips into here. There we go. Then there's a kind of weight that snips on here, I'm guessing over this white spot. I bet that white spot signifies where the weight should locate. Okay. Seems legit. How's that look up there? Is that enough extension? Fortunately, it looks easy enough to adjust on the fly later on if I have to. Like we just have this one kind of just snips into there now. Yeah. So I guess double check. We have everything connected properly now. So that goes to the hose. Hose is connected to its hanging assembly. That's plugged in. That's seated well. And the 1, 2, 3s, those are all seated well. I didn't take anything else out. Carefully now. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Carefully now. Okay. Now, the moment of the truth. Ugh.
Something yellow came out of there. I see no leaks.